I'm on. Refresh the page.
Yeah. Hold on. Did you put my same thumbnail up?
Q&A with Professor Ferro.
No, it's not doing it again. You gotta change the camera here.
That's the old one. I just went live again. Refresh the page.
Avoid the noise and the new crash very good on the run.
Oh, it says I'm live. And it's this way now.
Okay, hold on.
Probably just had to pick it.
Yeah, but what thumbnail is what? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We are finding how to figure this out.
Here we go.
You guys hear me?
Only 2 people watching right now.
You hear it? Why is this so delayed?
I think it's always. I don't know. Yeah, I can hear it.
Why is it delayed?
Maybe from the Q&A we'll go closer.
We gotta get closer. All right. So we're gonna have some questions and answers. I haven't looked at these questions yet, other than some of them. A lot of people messaged me. If you guys got another question, you could just put it in, I think, the comments.
Do you want me to see if I could go on here too?
No, what are you on this one?
I'm on my personal account.
Go to Ferro Academy.
Like,
Yeah, so. Why does Jack ruin everything?
it's a good question.
Yeah, go to Ferro Academy.
I like it.
Yes, in my account. Yes. So why does Jack ruin everything? Yeah, no, especially now, yeah, he did ruin a lot.
I don't think I could go on Ferro Academy if we're going live on it.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Yeah, go back. But yes, okay, so, I know the video's not the best, but what's up, Christians? Cool. You can watch some of these comments too. I was hoping to roll with you last night. So I had to have Austin beat me up a little bit. So I'll start answering some questions, and then you guys could keep commenting and stuff like that, and I'll keep looking. All right, so first one, when did you first become interested in jujitsu? I became interested in jujitsu in, oh man, I'm gonna feel old. I want to say, oh God, I don't know, 2000 and early 2000s. I want to say it was definitely when Hoist Gracie was fighting, and it was like I was like, there's no way I would do that because that's insane. But yeah, that's when I started becoming interested in jiu-jitsu after I saw Hoist pulling off moves off his back, and I was always all about that just because I'm a smaller guy, so I always wanted self-defense. So yes. Number 2, did you ever imagine yourself doing MMA when you were younger? I should probably read some of these to myself before I just read them out loud, but absolutely not. So I never thought I would do MMA. I've never been in a street fight in my life, which is insane, especially with my good patience that I have and tolerance of people. But yeah, so no, I never thought I was ever gonna do MMA, especially watching Hoist get his hair, or ripping out people's hair, kneeing each other in the nice, interesting parts. So yeah, that stuff is, I was like, there's no way I'm doing doing MMA. So what made me confident in doing MMA was when I was doing jiu-jitsu and I would be tapping people out bigger than me that were fighting and they were winning in fight. So once I was a little more trained, I was like, okay, this is something I should probably do, because why am I tapping these guys out? I know that's different than MMA fights, but yeah. Let's see. What was it like training for my first fights? That's hard to remember. I remember I was still in North Carolina for my first fight, and this story sucks actually. And it was my first fight. It was after me doing jiu-jitsu or whatever for about a year, I think. So it was basically a lot of just MMA gloves, and we just basically beat each other up. A lot of conditioning, a lot of rounds, like 5-minute rounds, a lot of shark tanks. Especially my first school was an MMA school, so that's what we basically did. It was a lot, and I was in the Marines, so at the same time, I was like 25, I think, during this time, or 26. And so I was younger, but yeah, so that's when I started, just realizing how hard it was to fight. And for that first fight in North Carolina, it was before I moved back home, so I wanted to have a fight in North Carolina before I moved back home to Illinois. And then the guy backed out of the fight the same day, the damn same day of the fight. And it was just demoralizing. And then, so I had to wait to have my first fight. Came back to Illinois probably like six months later. So that was rough. How did my mom react when you told her that you were going into MMA? I don't know, just that I was crazy. I mean, I know it didn't surprise her, because everything, I would always come home with something. I would try to hide a dog. I would try to do some stupid stuff. So yeah, she wasn't surprised, but she doesn't want to watch me fight though. Yeah. Oh man. Other than your passion for jiu-jitsu, what inside of you drives you to get up each day in battle? Other than jiu-jitsu, well, I have freedom that I have to, She should make an appearance, but she does not. Uh, Having freedom, I'm responsible for her, so that gives me motivation and drive to keep going. And just knowing that your life could be over in seconds, I guess, that should give you enough drive to get up and do something with yourself, with your life. Especially when you've seen your life flash before your eyes many times, you kind of, I don't know, have a different view on life, but that still doesn't mean that you got to battle with the demons. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like giving up, so I don't want to give up a battle. I don't like losing. It's just like tournaments. I lose a tournament. All right, well, I'm signing up when I get back, and I'm learning from it. And it's just like with life. That's kind of how it goes on. So yeah, I mean, a lot drives me to wake up. Just knowing that I have to teach students and try to get them good at jiu-jitsu and defending themselves. That's something that's important to me as well. What is it like having a service dog? And do you face any issues bringing her places? Oh boy. Well, it's awesome having a service dog, but it's a pain in the butt at the same time because I got to bring her everywhere for the most part. People normally don't say anything, obviously. We had that one idiot at the tattoo parlor. Whatever. I don't even care. They had enough bad publicity. Got into an argument about the service dog. He said he was basically a doctor, and he was in a surgeon's office, so being a tattoo artist, so he can't have the dog inside. Now, I don't know if this guy thought I was gonna have freedom on my lap when I was getting a tattoo, and it was ugly. That was the worst experience I had with having her. One funny story was I went to a therapy appointment, and I walked in with my dog, and the lady jumped on a chair on top of her husband and hid. And I kind of looked at her like she was crazy, and it was pretty embarrassing, though, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, normally no issues. Most of you guys know Freedom if you're watching. What was my worst injury? Oh man, shit. My worst injury. Would be, well, it depends. Okay, so the most painful injury was tearing my groin in half. That was a good one. That was so painful and stupid because I didn't tap to a banana split. That was just awful, and I still feel it to this day. I got a blood clot from training. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel the blood clot, but that's the most severe injury I would say I had. I've had nose surgery just from nose breaks. I tried dodging, but I got hit in the nose a lot when I trained, not when I fought. I didn't get hit a lot when I fought, only when I trained. I got beat up. So I'd say tearing my back, when I pulled out my back and couldn't walk for 2 days, that was pretty terrifying. Dislocated fingers and toes, those are, you shouldn't be worried about them. It's just part of it. Yeah, it's got to be the growing tear. That was an ugly injury. Let's see here, trying to respond to messages. All right, what belt was the hardest for you? Man, well, I don't know what that means necessarily. Hardest, maybe competition-wise, or just. I think, I think purple belt for me was the hardest belt, other than black belt. But purple belt was a tough belt. I think at blue belt, everyone's kind of on that same level once you put a little bit time and grade into it. But I always say, once you hit purple, that's kind of the time where it becomes pretty serious, and you've done some damage on the mats, and you're not messing around, and you're in it to win it type stuff. Because people quit at blue belt just because it takes time, and a lot of people lose drive. I don't know if they lose motivation. It sucks. I hate it because I always wanted to get better. I wanted that next belt, but doing MMA and jiu-jitsu together, like Tyler, he's having that same issue where it's trying to balance both, and it's very tough to balance both. So I would say purple belt was my toughest belt, because that's when I was doing MMA, it was all cool, but then when I would step in and compete against like a legit purple belt in the gi, and I was only doing gi like once a week, forget it. I had a lot of issues. So that was tough. Black belt though, it's a new ball game. That's when it like starts. But it's an awesome belt. What are common things you eat while cutting? So when I start cutting, I do allow myself to eat a big meal once a day, and I'll eat pasta, chicken mostly, or it'll be a chicken and fish, or if it's a week out, I'll still do the pasta, and then chicken. But other than that, I'm only eating a few eggs during the day. I snack on rice cakes. I try to have a little bit of, I have dark chocolate here and there until like a few days before. Then it's just basically salads instead of the heavy carb meals, especially because my hours are so different. So, but I do make myself pretty miserable during the day by eating, like I said, a few hard-boiled eggs and some rice cakes, maybe some fruit, and then I train twice a day with those like 2 weeks left, or a week and a half left. So that's where it really starts to suck. But yeah, I do eat. I do eat still a decent amount, at least for one meal, so I don't feel as stressed out. Is it better to train both gi and no gi? Yes, it's better to do gi and no gi, absolutely. I was a no gi guy at first, and to me, I didn't think I had any jiu-jitsu compared to when I started really getting into the gi. Was at brown belt, near the end of like the near brown belt to black belt is when I started doing like a ton of gi, and near halfway purple belt, like I started doing De La Riva guard, Barambolos. I started watching more of the Meow Brothers. That's when I actually seen them live, and I was like, not live, but I seen them compete, and then they're my weight, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are purple belts. So you gotta do both. And I tell my guys here that even like no gi, like they're just gonna learn jujitsu with the gi. And again, it's a traditional martial art with it. With gi, a lot of it is you gotta think, and I think a lot of people don't want to think. They just want to be kind of like Neanderthals. Like jujitsu, you have to open up your mind. You got to see what works. You got to be technical, and I think a lot of people just aren't technical, and they just they use like straight up wrestling. They have a little bit of jujitsu technique, but I'm watching UFC fights, watching MMA fights. It's like, man, you see a lot of stuff that if these guys would put a little more attention to it, it would be crazy. But at the same time, if you're doing MMA, it's tough to be focusing 100% on the gi though too, like doing worm guard and training. It's gonna be tougher when you're doing MMA to do that. So you gotta I think you got to have a happy middle for that. Um, so that's a different story. If we're talking, if you do jujitsu and you don't touch the gi, you know that's you know, I guess that was me for the first year and a half. And again, it took me a while to like the gi. I was all about just whatever. I'm being scrappy, blah blah blah, whatever. But you know, you should know a little bit of the tradition. You should know how to do a gi choke, especially if you have a purple belt on you. I know there's different systems out there, but I'm old school, I guess. But even though I came up training myself rubber guard, you know, I loved watching Eddie Bravo when I was a youngster in jiu-jitsu. But yeah, so I think both is just it's key. Right now, I don't do enough no-gi, and I want to do more no-gi. But you know, I have school, and I'm competing right now in gi a lot. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot. Like I really have to use my mind doing gi. I I love the traditional aspects of pass the guard, do this, do that, instead of just attacking the legs without knowing any fundamentals. So if you combine those two, I mean, I believe that it makes superstars. Like back in the day, you had Marcelo Garcia that was winning ADCC, and then he was winning world championships in the gi. You know, you were seeing Leandro Lo, Busesha, like all these guys, Mendez brothers. I remember when they said the Meow brothers were going to suck at no gi because all they could do was gi, blah, blah, blah. And then they started killing it no gi. And they didn't do, I don't think they even did no gi up until like, I don't know, purple brown belt or something, I think I read. So I just think that's, it's very important to know technique and have great technique. I know so many guys that are really good, you know, no gi jujitsu, but I'm like, man, if they put on the gi and they just, Bruce asked, do you heel hook white belts? Oh boy, leave it to Bruce. Bruce, no, I don't recommend heel hooking white belts. And especially in the gi, for the love of God, guys, don't heel hook in the gi. And yes, and I'm talking to some of my students, and I hopefully my one student. Oh, Bruce, we all know. I had a few guys here go for heel hooks on me in the gi here. I respect them. And Steve. Oops. Yeah, guys. When I do teach heel hooks in no-gi, I do say now, you guys can't basically use this. But no, I'm a firm believer in everybody knowing everything, but if you're heel hooking white belts, you gotta settle down with that. What is my policy on wrist locks? Oh man. I don't do wrist locks. I mean, so if I have like an armbar position, I'll go for like a kind of like a wrist lock to break the grip. I don't go for wrist locks. I think they're awesomely effective. I'm just not a fan. I don't know what my policy is. I guess you could wrist lock, but just, I don't know. I don't teach it. So if they're doing wrist locks, they're going on YouTube looking up wrist locks, or who is it? Pete the Greek. He's the wrist lock king. So they could go to him and watch his wrist lock videos. But yeah, I do not do those. Thanks, Bruce. You're always making me blush. Yeah, Steve, one of my lovely white belts probably throw in chocolate cupcakes. Absolutely chocolate cupcakes. So Steve, yeah, no heel hooking white belts. But see, you guys watch my YouTube videos and then you go do the moves I show, so I can't be mad at you guys on that. But yeah, definitely chocolate cupcakes, Bruce. Oh God, that's funny. So gi and no gi, I think do both. I will I mean, who cares what I respect, but you shouldn't care what anybody thinks about you. But I respect people more if you could win gi and no gi at a high level. That's amazing. I mean, that's just truly amazing to me. But I think if you do good in gi, you should be able to do good in no gi, for the most part. Again, but I came up doing no gi, so maybe I'm being biased with that. But yeah, do both. Don't be one-sided, for the love of God. Especially Hernandez yell at him about doing gi. I don't like vanilla cupcakes. My biggest life lesson: don't be a dick all the time. I guess that's a good life lesson. A good life lesson was just being in the military and being like, hey, I can't look at Bruce's comments when I'm trying to answer this right now. Just going through the military and seeing all that stuff shows you kind of got to grow up and you got to see what you know. You're not owed anything in life. You kind of work. You got to work hard for what you do. You know, like I can't. I've been around poor. I've been around rich. You can't hate on either of them. You can't hate on the rich if they're working hard for their money. And it's a good life lesson to see that life could be over like that, and you got to work hard for your money because nothing's cheap, especially in Illinois. So that is a good life lesson. Work. It pays off. It really does. Who is your training partner that hurts the most to roll with? That's you, Bruce. That is absolutely Bruce. Yeah, no, so competing actually has been very, very difficult last year and into this year because I haven't had Bruce to roll with. Because COVID and then just our schools, we were just kind of, trying to play it safe. And now it looks like we're both making a comeback. And I'll probably get a crack of him next week. But yeah, he makes me hurt a lot. He likes to go after my legs. And we're very competitive against each other, so he's popped my ankle a few good times. I think he's put me unconscious almost once, halfway in the middle of a loop choke roll. Because I look at if I could do good against Bruce, I feel like I could do good against anybody. As he's went with the Meow Brothers twice. He went 10 minutes with Meow. He went 10 minutes with Mikey Musmeshi, or I don't know if I pronounced that. I can never pronounce his name. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing, and that's my training partner. And he owns a jiu-jitsu school in Naperville. B1 Fitness, go. See, good plug. Thanks, Bruce. Craig, gi first makes it easier to do no gi, the fundamentals and concepts. Absolutely, I agree, Craig. Gi first makes it easier to do no gi because you're going to know the fundamentals. I'm going to show you to pass guard. I'm not going to show you to get swept and go for a leg lock. I don't like that. I just feel like that defeats the purpose, especially, and if you think about it from a self-defense standpoint, I don't want to be on my back on a street fight. Now, if someone's on their back, I want to control them. If I don't know how to pass their legs, or someone's like kicking up in the air, flailing at me, and I fall for a leg lock or something, and the guy gets on top of me, I mean, with adrenaline, Guys, drugs, like you can tear their MCL, they're still gonna be coming after you. So again, that takes me back to the gi first thing. You're welcome, Bruce. But yeah, so that, like I'll yell at my students. I see them trying to pass guard, they fall for a leg lock. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? This one over here. She stopped doing it though. Because I don't like that. I don't like that. What advice would you give your younger self? Be better in life. I wish I had the mindset I had now than when I was younger. I'd probably be a millionaire and I'd be a lot happier. But you learn when you learn it. So you can't go back on that. My favorite part about teaching, Dylan, is seeing my students improve. I mean, that's awesome. To go against them and have them do moves to you, like it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's awesome because you're teaching them that. You're seeing people get gold medals, silver medals, bronze. Just going out there competing is awesome. It's the coolest thing ever. That's my favorite part about teaching, and I love this. I mean, I don't. When people see me, I went to Zhushka's house, and her and her husband were like, "Why don't have a gi on?" Like, what the hell? So yes, that is me. Let's go. Do you have any current injuries? If so, what are they? Oh, good Lord. Right now, I got like a slight meniscus tear in my knee. As most of you guys know, I've gotten some PRP injections. It helped, but after this last competition, it popped out again. And unfortunately, 2 days ago, I kind of felt like I was back at square one again, but it's not, I just gotta, I could still get PRP treatments at any time. I just gotta be safe with it. So that's the injury that's scary. I'm not scared. Well, yeah, I don't want to get surgery or anything. I don't have time for that. Every other injuries are the common, your fingers, my wrists, turf toe. I know, mine, knock on wood, mine's been pretty good. Because everything hurts, but it's normal. It hurts to move. I was texting one of my students today. I'm like, man, you ever try to wake up? I mean, you try to sleep, but you can't because you're so achy from being sore. And that was me today. And it's like, I don't sleep as it is, but I've been training a lot lately. I don't know. I need to tone it down, but I have tournaments coming up. I can't. But anyway, yes. Good questions. Do you love your job? Absolutely. I don't need to answer that one. What is my strength and conditioning routine? So when I am not competing, I will lift 3 days a week and I will go heavy. I will go about 5 reps. I do about 2 sets for each. I'll even do bicep curls. I'll do the beach muscles. When I have competition coming up, I do higher reps. I'll go down to 2 days a week. I do more legs for high reps. But then I still try to add a little bit of some power, strength in there. And then a week before a tournament, I don't lift because I gotta cut some weight, so I gotta lose some muscle. Yes. iPad, bam, on here, whatever, once we get through here. When are you gonna see a surgeon so you know exactly what's going on with your knee? Never. I don't know. I guess when I can't move it anymore, or when it doesn't lock, or when I can't hit it back into place, that's when I'll go. Absolutely, combat training. How many gis do you have? I knew there was gonna be. What is your story behind your favorite and how you obtained it? Oh man. I wouldn't. Okay, I guess I have one favorite, and it would be the Ring, the Ryan Hall, the Ring gi, because that was my first one. I bought that was basically online, and I won it, or not won it. I actually was able to win because you can never get show your old gis. At the time, it was even they were even less at the time. So I would say that's, I guess, it means the most to me because it was my hard work and money, and I couldn't do a lot of them. So how many gis I have? Probably about 50 to 60 gis. The reason, and here's a thing. So the story behind my gis are, so it's been so rough, has been kind of rough. So at one time after the military, I ended up going through some stuff, losing my house. You know, I owned my Integra, but I didn't drive my Integra. I think can't even drive on the road at the time. I couldn't fix it to drive on the road because I didn't have the money. I drove a car that I got for free, basically. As you guys know, the Red Rocket, that thing, I said I was gonna drive till it blew up. That basically did blow up. So I had to struggle. So I didn't own anything. I didn't have anything. I was living in basements and homes that weren't even my home. So the only thing that I had in my eyes was my gis. And I would reward myself with getting gis as like showing that I did something or hard work, or I'll reward myself with something. So when I would look at my gis, I knew those were mine. I know that was just mine. It wasn't a girl I was with. It wasn't my family's. It wasn't my friends. It was mine. And so that's what, and then it's my passion is jujitsu. So I look at it as like throwing on armor, like you're going to war. Like, and when we trained in the military, we had to wear fatigues all the time. So I don't know. I love them. I love my gis. I love all my gis. So yeah. And I'll talk about my sponsors after this as well. We got another question. VA is very unpredictable. Yes. Do you believe the combat mindset war veterans develop give them an edge or allow them to be more comfortable during uncomfortable situations? Yeah, mentally it's huge because when you're going to fight, you're locked in a cage and it's one-on-one. You know, I know it's hard because you're still going to be nervous before. You're going to be nervous to make the cut. You're going to be like, oh God, I got to fight. Do I train enough? Am I going to be sick? Like, that's all stuff. I'm watching Freedom chase a fly with her head, and it's pretty amusing. Oh boy. So, yes. So I remember people were like, well, you've been through war, right? I'm like, yeah, okay. What, you're going into a fight. What big deal? You have gloves on. You're trained for this. You could tap. Or you could get knocked out, whatever. So I think that's a huge advantage to have that mindset when you kind of, every single day you leave the wire in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever you were deployed, and you leave the base, you have to put your mindset that, well, you could be dead. I mean, this is it. Here we go. Even if you're on base, you could get hit with missiles when they shot the rockets over. And I had horrible range, luckily, and distance and smarts. They missed us a lot. But anyway, so yeah, no, it's huge because it teaches you to not panic as much. You know, sometimes I still have anxiety if I get put in a bad position and I'm already breathing heavy. It's like, don't panic. So you kind of got to go in your mind and be like, look, I've been through much worse than this. I've been blown up. Like, I could deal with doing a jiu-jitsu match or doing an MMA fight. You know, once they closed that cage door is when I flipped a switch. And I don't train with a switch, I guess. I've always trained nicer. I've shown people respect a little bit, sometimes too much. There's sometimes I could have tapped a few people where I didn't want to because I felt bad because I'm not used to tapping them. I don't know. It's just that's something I do with when I'm training. But when I do the fight or flight, it's a different story. Like in training, I might get my ass whooped, but then, when it comes down to it, not saying I'm not going to get my ass whooped when it comes down to it, but it's there's a switch, and that definitely goes off. Um, Let it get worse, then you'll be out healing even longer. Absolutely. Yes, it's getting better. It's getting better. I've been stubborn my whole life with injuries. I remember being a blue belt and having my knees get destroyed, like a bad strains, like probably little tears, but I was able to recover on them. I mean, I guess, or this is just coming back, and by just spastic white belts. So I always tell my white belts, there's a thing, you guys are them, you just don't know it yet. You guys will see it once you get there. So I remember I'd wrap my knees so tight where I couldn't feel my toes, but I was like, I have to train. Mentally, I have to train. I'm stubborn ass. How long did it take for your gym to take off and be self-sustaining? Man, I don't know, man. I feel like it was very fast with the gym. We were at my place for a year basically when we moved out of the gym I worked at. I opened the school with like 20, 30 students, doubled per year, and now the school I'm in now, I'm looking for a third school ready. It looks big, but then, most of the time at night, it's pretty congested in here. I can't have everybody roll at once, and I hate that, but I love it at the same time because that means I'm growing. So, it was right away. I have a great following, great people. Great people. Yeah. What's my motivation? I think I explained that a little bit. Motivation is to get up and teach people how to kick people's butts, but to have self-defense. It should always be self-defense first, confidence, and then kicking some ass and competing if you want. When are you gonna break in your pew pew? Soon. Damn it, I need to break that in. And again, thanks for putting it together for me, because it's sick. It's sick. Oh, love it. What was my favorite belt? Again, I want to go back to purple belt because purple was a cool color. It was bright. It looked good with any gis. Brown belt looked like crap with every gi. I hated brown belt. I hated it. I was a brown belt for like 5 years with one stripe. Oh, it was so horrible. No, it's a struggle. But purple belt was my favorite belt because that showed me jujitsu. Because I started focusing more on the gi. Blue belt, like I got away with, being good at no gi, where I'll slip in Darce chokes in the gi and stuff. Like I'm not getting Darce chokes in the gi. That was definitely my favorite belt, Dylan. Let's see here. Man, I already talked about that. How do you prevent your possibly bad day from impacting your training? It's tough. That's a tough one, but whenever I had bad days was when I really needed to get my ass here to train. Sometimes I let the outside world interfere and then I would roll like garbage. And you can't do that. You have to try to just come in here, focus on the technique, clear your mind. Yes, Craig, absolutely. Message me. You could talk. I did things actually a good way. I got lucky and a lot of stuff too, so we'll talk. So I try to put my mind blank and just come in here, talk to the people, and just put your mind on that technique, and then you don't have to worry about the bullshit that happened in the day. It doesn't mean that bullshit's gonna not be there when you're done, but it's gonna help get that bullshit out of your mind. So when I'm having a rough day, I definitely wanna do that. Christians, how do you get out of a BJJ plateau? Oh man. Sometimes it's good to take like a few days off, even though that's not my mentality. As a coach, I might say that to take a few days off, but I also say you got to just keep training. You're going to get out of that plateau. It's as simple as that. Because then after a week or 2 or 3, it's just going to click. Then you're just going to start beating some people or doing some good moves, like beating people to positions out of the blue, and you're going to be like, well, how did this happen? I was just in a plateau. Well, that plateau was because everybody is getting better and people are learning learning your game. You got to understand, people are learning your game. I'm going to make anybody plateau. You guys are going to make me plateau. If you guys know I love Delahiva. You guys don't, a lot of you don't let me get Delahiva. It's bullshit. But you see what I'm saying? So that's going to make me do something else, and that's going to get shut down for a bit. But then when I have you trying to shut down another movement, then I'm going to be able to go back to Delahiva guard. So you just got to keep on working through it and busting through it, and you'll get through any plateaus. A few days off too could help. Take your mind off jiu-jitsu. Don't watch videos. What helps me with plateaus though actually is watching like live matches of the best, the guys that I like watching. That helps me a lot too. Good question. All right, last question here. How do you personally deal with criticism and hate? Oh, it's funny that this question is last because this comes up. I've had to call my instructor a few times when I've dealt with when I've dealt with some criticism and hate, just because people run their mouths. So when I have somebody that doesn't like me or they want me to fail, that don't know me, you can't take that personally at all. Like now when it becomes a disrespect thing, now we're gonna have issues. But at the same time, you can't let chirping interfere with what you're doing, especially when they're nobodies. I had somebody tell me, I'm like, okay, and I was worked up over something a few years ago. Like he's like, settle down, calm down, relax. Think about where you're at, what you have done, and he's like, what has this person done? And I'm like, but no, what has that person done? And you're like, you think about it. Damn, what has that person done? I don't even know who that person is. So once you get to that aspect, you gotta call them. If you get hated on or you're criticized, those are your fans. Those are your, I don't know, I guess those are your jealous fans, so to speak, because they're still your fans. You're still gonna watch videos. If you comment on a video, if you unlike a video, it's still getting interaction. I don't care. And especially, it's crazy because you hear some stuff. You got to think about it. You got to think about it. Criticism and hate. When Gordon Ryan, that guy is criticized and hated constantly. I'm not going to get into you of my opinion on him or anything like that. But how does he deal with it? He makes a lot of money and he gets good at jiu-jitsu. That's how he deals with it. That he takes it to another level. I don't need to do that. I don't want to. I have so much stuff that I do daily that I have to take care of. I got bills to pay 2 places. I don't have time for that stuff. When 99% of the people care a lot about you, like you, understand you, because they know you, like you, then who cares about that other 0.1% that don't even know you, or have nothing good to say? And you know, you kind of, you got to look at it as that is motivational as hell, to know that people are watching, or people know your name. They know, like, damn, I don't even know your name. Like, what, you know, that's cool. At the same time, it's frustrating. Don't let it ruin your day. You can't let it ruin your day. But yeah, I used to get worked up. After the last, probably years ago, 3 years ago, I just was like, yeah, okay. After that talk I had, you know, it's just, you're gonna deal with it. When you get bigger, when you get more popular, you're gonna have people dislike you. You know, it is what it is. So I guess that's the best way to deal with criticism, because if you have such a strong following and team on your side, criticism shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter at all. I had a guy, what was it? Oh yeah, a guy told me I'm a fake black belt. So I don't know what that means. As far as I know, I got promoted to black belt. I don't know. I do know, actually, I know a guy that gave himself a black belt, but we won't talk about that right now. It is on Reddit. Check it out. Let's see. Thanks. You're welcome, Dylan. Team 1 MMA. Holy shit. I used to train there too, man. Back in the day. Oregon. Man, I want to come out by you. Yeah, you could always come here and train, man, when you're out here. That goes for anybody that I'm cool with. And stuff like that. So, and another thing with I don't know, with hated on or criticism, not criticism, just hated on. If there, you got to understand, there's truths to stories. There's just different truths to others to stories. There's not one answer. So if you're hanging out with people that had a bad experience, they ended up not liking each other or something like that, and you're getting all the information from someone like that, well, then you're just a sheep. It's just as simple as that. So, what is it? How does a sheep? I don't know how they do the little sheepy thing. But yeah, so that's all you gotta that's all you gotta think about. With that being said, is that it? Questions and answers. We got no more questions and answers. We're gonna get geed up and we're gonna do a quick roll with my mini me here, and maybe you guys will see me break my knee live. And I know there's some people that want me to, so. We shall be right back. while I'm getting my stuff ready, guys. Shout out to my sponsors, obviously Top Mount. They sponsor my YouTube as well as Athens Greek restaurant in Richton Park, Mr. Constantine. Check them out. Tell them you know me. So yeah, so Top Mount, and then both sponsored even my YouTube as well as me, and they're just. We should have a conversation how to get sponsors too. It can't be just about free stuff. It's not about free stuff. I actually get yelled at by a few of my sponsors because I don't ask for shit, but I want to. But kind of feel bad. But no, they're great, like great people. I try to help them out constantly. They help me out. So if you want to check out the gear, I post all about Top Mount all the time. They have awesome rash guards. They'll make you guys anything. If you guys need anything, they'll make you anything. Like for real, for real. Let's see. We're gonna do like a 10-minute round. This might be rough at first because Saturdays I usually don't do anything. So we gotta make sure we're still in frame over here.
Yeah.
We should put barriers up.
Yeah.
We should get that ball. I think another question came up. Yeah, our outro, the website link. We have to, my guy's fixing it. He's gonna put the right link at the end.
What do you want on this side?
Hmm?
What do you want on this side?
I don't know. Put a crock.
A shoe on the back?
Yeah, good point. No shoes on the mats. Thanks for watching the questions and answers. I know. Let me warm up for a second or two here. Which one is, this is the old one, right? Why is it still there?
I don't know, I deleted it.
I'm gonna make sure it's deleted.
Oh, we left.
Cool. All right. No music, but all right, so we're gonna do one round and then we are done. So she has been with me since she's like 12 years old, and the story about her, this one is that she had this crazy foot surgery, so I never thought she would roll ever again or even be able to walk ever again. So it's very cool to see her become good.
We start
Huh?
sitting.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Oh, go to sleep.